Finally come into this last round after going down to Souths last weekend, and here's their team. Shearer, Davis, Close, Blake, Ronson, Cox and Hasler, Lyons, Cleal, Vorton, Pocock, Cochrane and Daly. Parramatta went to Seaford Oval last Sunday, and the Raiders were the victors, 19-12. Here's their team. Taylor, Delroy, Muggleton, Ella, Growth, Kenny and Sterling, Price, Sharp, Laurie, Leabeater, Mosley and Bugden. And the referee for this NEC big game is Kevin Roberts.
So here we go again in one of these great battles between Manly and Parramatta. No two sides have attracted the attention of the rugby league public like these two in the modern era. Mosley tackled just inside the 22, and there's some enthusiastic Manly defence going in there. Lyons, who will lead the Manly defensive line on more than one occasion, already getting involved in 2 of the first 3 tackles. It's Mark Laurie. Play on the Parramatta 22, and John Muggleton lands that ball down on the Manly 32, where Dale Shearer comes across and runs about 5 metres before giving to Stuart Davis. Paul Vorton met by Leabeater, Muggleton, Price and Mosley. Hasler, Cox. Long ball, cuts out Close, picks up Blake, goes on out wide for Ronson. Ronson's down to the Parramatta 32 and just inside it. Manly clearing the ball from the play, the ball in unorthodox fashion as big Chris Close goes bursting down the field. Hasler, Daly, Mosley around the legs. He hands the ball out the back there for Cochrane, away for Hasler. Hasler's up to the 22. It's gone to Cox. Cox pulled down in a desperate tackle by Delroy. 5 gone for Manly. Already they've shown that they want points and plenty of them. Up goes the ball now. Sterling gets underneath it. Down it comes to Manly. And Hasler knocked on. The referee will pack a scrum 5 metres away from the Parramatta line. There's the replay of the up and under. It came down sweetly for Cochrane. He got the ball away. It went down around the feet of Des Hasler. Sterling working it. Won by Mosley. And Sterling is put down about 8 metres out from his line. Tremendous atmosphere. It's standing room only as Ray Price comes out and gets under. Over the 22 and outside the 32. Cochrane got an ankle-tapping tackle on him. Played back for Mosley to spread to the blind side for Leabeater to go to within 9 metres of the halfway line. Sterling, Muggleton. Strong breeze is blowing as Mosley goes down towards the Manly 32 line. 5 tackles gone for the Eels. To Sterling, the kick neatly placed over the back of the Manly 3/4. Ronson got an awkward bounce, and he'll play it about 5 metres out from the Manly line. Played by Shearer. There's the lower grades. Parramatta 8-3 the 23s, and 33-10 they also won reserves. Mitchell Cox. Well, we saw on that attacking raid by Manly that they are prepared to throw the ball about. They've got nothing to lose at all and everything to gain by mounting a big score against Parramatta. Those minor grade wins for Parramatta seals the club championship for them. Muggleton plays it back to Mosley. He takes it out just inside the 22 line. The breeze, as I said, is strong. Oh, that pass looked a little dubious from Sterling to Bugden. Probably favouring Manly, but we'll get a more accurate check from Graham in a moment. Leabeater to Kenny. Kenny tackled by Cox. He wasn't held. Vorton has to come in to secure the tackle. Ray Price to Sterling. Sterling puts up the kick. Mosley is offside for Parramatta. The kick goes over the dead ball line and will come out to the 22 for the restart. Manly coming back for a quick 22 tap. And Daly it is who goes ahead. Gets it back to Cochrane. Cochrane to Cox. And Cox wrestled to the ground by Laurie. Well, how would you assess this, Breeze? Graham, is it right? Am I right in saying it's fractionally behind Manly?
Well, it has been swirling around. This Breeze more or less going from our bottom right-hand corner of the field up towards the hill. Slightly favouring Manly, but I mentioned swirling around only moments ago when Parramatta mounted that counter-attack. The Breeze tended to start to drift behind the Eels.
Hasler now. Cochrane. Muggleton takes it on the bounce. Sterling. Sharp wearing jumper number 22. Muggleton playing in the centres in number 9. Mosley again out and away from dummy half and very valuable metres. Bleeding from, I think, the nose as Sterling gives it to Lee Beater. He channels back in towards the play the ball. And Vorton and Daly make the tackle. Mosley on the run around. 5 gone for the Eels. Sterling has the blind side stacked. He runs to the defensive line. He gives the ball to Laurie. Laurie gets it to Delroy. Delroy back to Sterling. Sterling scores! Peter Sterling has scored about 10 metres in from the main grandstand side of Brookvale. Well, he set it up and he finished it off, Peter Sterling. Laurie got the ball away to Delroy. Delroy got inside Davis, got it back to Sterling, and Sterling was over to score. And Parramatta draw first blood and lead by 4 points to 0.
Good 6-tackle option, this one by Parramatta, and in particular Peter Sterling. I think Manly had the numbers on the blind side, but they just couldn't make the tackles. Davis came in to try and stop the progress of the ball. The ball was thrown over the top. He went back outside. He got there too late. Passed back to Peter Sterling, and he crossed for the 4 points.
Here's another angle of it as Parramatta stacked this blind side. They were on their last tackle, and so often they use the option of throwing the ball about, and they score a lot of tries on that last tackle. Sterling goes in for another. Certainly a champion young player, and I would think a warm favourite to win the Rothmans medal, and don't be surprised if he takes out the Dally M's as well. Steve Ella, the kicker. In fact, I think the major awards this year will be fought out by the number 7s. Ella. It's missed very wide of the uprights, and so Parramatta leading Manly by 4 points to 0. The try coming after 7 minutes of time. From Cochrane now to Blake, and Blake puts the kick downfield straight to Paul Taylor.
Manly have obviously gone into this game with the object of firstly winning it, but also scoring as many points as they possibly can. But they can't afford to go to sleep on their defence, because every point scored against them is another one they've got to get back.
So Hasler is tackled now, about 35 metres out from the Parramatta line, and Paul Vorton goes up to the quarter line. Looked to get a pass away, but he couldn't get it around the corner. Lyons for Daly. 20 metres away from the Parramatta line now. Manly trailing 4 points to 0. Piling on the attack as we speak as Cox turns it in for Hasler. Hasler through to Cochrane, on to Lyons, out wide for Close. There's a chance on for Manly. Close gets it to Davis. Here comes Kenny, but Davis steps around him, and Davis goes in to score for Manly. Well, they drew them in and then they threw it wide. And Stuart Davis goes in to score about 12 metres in from the touchline on the grandstand side. 4 points all now. Well, this was the way it happened. I thought for a moment Chris Close may have been able to score himself. He was confronted by Muggleton. He got around Muggleton easily, and then he drew the winger Delroy in. Delroy made the mistake of you either go in and take him or you stay on your own man, but he didn't do either, and Davis was in to score.
great attack this by Manly, particularly by Chris Close. The ball came out to him very swiftly. When Close got hold of the ball, he had to do some work on Muggleton, but he did. He did that with a little bit of an in and away. You'll see it coming up here in a moment. The ball's finding its way out now along the Manly back line, on to Close, skips around Muggleton and then on to Davis. But this was terrible defence by Kenny and Ellie. You can see the two of them coming across. They both got there at the same time. One of them had to stay back in case the step was off the left foot inside, and that's exactly what happened.
So there he is, Stuart Davis, the try scorer. And 4 points all to score. Mel Cochran, one of the game's finest. Got it away nicely. It's a goal.
6 points to 4. A goal for Malcolm Cochran.
Delroy. 3 penalties straight to Parramatta. Sterling. Lee Beater goes up the middle. Now it's Sterling, and this time it's Sharp going back into the middle. Mosley swamped there by Cliff Lyons. And Mosley will get booked for acting if he's not careful. Away now for Sterling. And this time it's outside for Muggleton. Kenny, I noticed, was outside Muggleton again. This is Taylor. 5 tackles gone, knocked backwards, said the referee. So what will Sterling do here? The kick is on. There it goes, high. It's coming down in the field of play. Oh, Growth all but got a hand to it. In fact, Growth came diving through the air. And he almost came up with a freakish try. And the referee ruling a 22-place kick to restart.
Kick ahead, the fullback was up in the line. Sterling went across, he couldn't clean it up. Manly come up with the ball. Phil Blake turns it around the corner for Shearer, and Shearer is tackled by Taylor and Sharp. Away now for Blake. Inside the 32 line. Sharp and Lee Beater the tacklers. Hasler, Cox, Lyons on his outside. That's Lyons. A little juggle. It goes back inside for Hasler. Hasler goes towards the quarter, reaches that point before being tackled by Lee Beater and Taylor. Manly attacking, leading by 6 to 4. Daly goes ahead, tackled by Sterling, got the ball off to Cochran, on to Hasler, out to Lyons. Closest with him, here he is, the big fellow, and he's tackled 15 metres out from the Parramatta line. Play back to Davis, away to Lyons. Lyons calls Cochran inside. He does that, he kicks ahead. It might be too big, or was he knocked over late? Yes, it's a penalty to Manly. A penalty to Manly. 5 metres out into the field of play, opposite where the ball landed. This was the little kick by Cochran. Delroy went ahead with the late tackle.
I'm sure he'll recover in time to take the kick for goal.
One out of one for Cochran. He converted the Davis try. This match being beamed to the north of England and through parts of Europe and of course into Canada. And apparently there's a Parramatta supporter out there somewhere in Mason, Georgia, Canada, by the name of Tom Alton, who watches us each and every week. Hello to you and all the other Canadians that take in the rugby league each week. On Network 10 Australia. But here's Mal Cochran now, looking to send Manly a further 2 points in front, and he hooked it. It's no goal. Manly remains 6, Parramatta 4. Graham Hughes, is there some question mark on the fitness of Bugden at the moment?
I've been watching Buggo very, very closely about the last 15 minutes, and he's more often than not been the last man to any of the scrums. I spoke to him before the game. He was heavily choked up with the flu, and that's one of the toughest things in rugby league to play this game, is to go into a game with a condition like that, especially in summery conditions. And I'll be surprised if he lasts the distance. I'll be looking either 10 or 15 minutes into the second half for a guy like Jeremy Lillis or Stan Jerd to come on for him.
Daly was just met and tackled by Terry Leabeater, who's doing enough work for both he and Bugden at the moment. Now it's Noel Cleal inside the 32 line. Blake. Cox. That came off a Parramatta player, fielded by Ray Price. 17 degrees is the official reading on, as I said, the last day of Australian winter, as Growth is tackled about 15 metres out from his line. There's the scrums and penalties. 2 decided scrums to Manly, 1 to Parramatta. Hasler has the ball for Manly, and away from a couple of fragile attempts at tackle before Muggleton picks him up. Cleal turning it off then for Ronson. Match being played at a hectic pace. Blake, Lyons, front on tackle by Laurie. Now it's Blake shrugging off a tackle, getting it away for Daly. Daly gets it inside for Lyons and then to Hasler. They've got the numbers. Cox goes to the 10-metre line. Hasler does well to pick up that pass. Hasler to play it now. Cleal a dummy half. Pulled down by Mosley. 5 tackles gone for the Sea Eagles. They lead 6-4. Lyons gets the kick up in the air. Parramatta stood off him. Shearer comes down with it. And Cox has it. Where is it now? He's still got the ball. No, Parramatta apparently have it. This was the desperate attempt by Manly as Shearer got a pass away to Mitchell Cox. He had it a couple of times before losing it to Mark Laurie. Leabeater. Sterling. Kick coming off the outside edge of the boot. It might even find touch. Davis. Tackled by Taylor. Sterling coming in to help Taylor. And away goes Dale Shearer. Tackled by Sterling. Gets it to Hasler. Hasler comes outside the 10-metre line, but he's tackled by Taylor and by Price and Sharp, and Taylor is hurt. It's gone now to Daly. Out the back and finds Malcolm Cochrane. Cochrane! He goes outside the 40-metre line. He dummies there to Cliff Lyons. He's pulled down by Sterling.
He dummied to Cliff Lyons, but he should have. He'd have given the ball to Lyons. Lyons also had support on the outside. That could have easily been a Manly try.
Hasler to Cox. Away to Blake. Now Shearer. This is Ronson going down the right flank. The defence is converging. The ball has gone loose and he's going to order the knock-on. 10 metres out from the Parramatta line. He's going to pack a scrum down. Parramatta's fullback Taylor was receiving attention. Growth had already committed himself down the ground, and Manly capitalised on that on the right flank. Here's Cox stepping inside Kenny, and here goes big Chris Close inside the 32-metre line, up to the 22. Dale Shearer, he'll score. Will he? No, he's short. He's over the line but can't get it down. Referee Roberts is telling him to play the ball. Well, Roberts letting play go on. I thought he would have given a penalty there and maybe used the sin bin. But it's Ronson who's tackled. 10 metres away from the Parramatta line.
Price was 10 metres offside then.
Davis to play the ball now. Well, it seemed that they could have easily been given a penalty, Manly, at the very least, when Shearer was not allowed to play it. And now, instead of a certain 2 points, they're going to get involved in a scrum 5 metres out from the Parramatta line with the feed going to Parramatta. And that's called playing the advantage. As I've said so many times, I'm blowed if I know whether that's an advantage.
In fact, I'm sure it's not. There's no question in my mind that Parramatta gave a penalty to Manly right in front under the crossbar. And not only should have Manly been given the penalty, but probably a Parramatta player could have been sent to the bin. This is Muggleton. Graham, on the sidelines, do you agree or disagree with what I saw?
Well, originally I was agreeing with Kevin Roberts playing the advantage. I thought Manly could still score out on the right as they went right, but then, of course, Parramatta players were offside there too. When they finally halted play and a scrum was set, I thought that Roberts could easily have called those Parramatta players out at that stage, still awarded a penalty, and I think Parramatta would have been, or still very lucky that it wasn't one. 2 or 3 players could have been in the bin.
David Ronson coming out towards the 22-metre line. Shearer. Cox.
Well, I'm sure Parramatta will be happy to go in behind 6-4 at half-time, but in this next few minutes, just before the whistle sounds, I think that Manly are going to try to play the game out wide, particularly in the centres, because the Parramatta centres are just in complete disarray. They've hardly got any semblance of a backline at all, the Eels.
Now Daly will play it. 32 metres out from his own line. Cleal. No markers, and well, that's a freakish performance by Sharp to field that ball, but then he wasn't ruled as having knocked on. Big Bugden goes inside the 32. You would have thought it was highly likely that Sharp did knock on as he fielded that ball off the boot of Cleal. But Parramatta now on their second tackle, and they're on the Manly 22. This is Sharp. Sterling going back to the blind side. Now it's Taylor. 5 tackles gone for the Eels now. Sterling. The up and under is there. Kenny's underneath it. And it came down to Mitchell Cox off the hands of Brett Kenny. There it was, the bomb. And there's the siren sounding in the background as play comes to an end with the ball in the hands of Dale Shearer. And Kevin Roberts gets a rousing reception as he makes off for the half-time break. Talking of the break, here's a comment from Graham Hughes.
What an amazing game of rugby league. Manly certainly must be asking themselves the question what they have to do to get across that Parramatta try line. Well, there's 3 reasons why they can't score as freely as they would wish, and that is Michael Mosley, Ray Price and Peter Sterling putting in tremendous effort for the Eels. And I just get the feeling, I know Manly are going to certainly try and continue to throw this ball about in the next 40 minutes, but in doing that, they're certainly going to leave the way open for quite a few Parramatta opportunities just as well.
Sterling is back on the field. There was some doubt when he left the field. It looked like he may not come back out. Parramatta have made some changes. Let's take them from Graham Hughes.
Well, it's the one change. Tony Chalmers out there in 18. Taylor has gone off, and Mick Delroy has moved to fullback.
So Delroy to fullback, Chalmers to the wing, and Manly unchanged as Vaughton is tackled just inside the 22. This is Daly. Cox. Hasler knocking on, so a scrum will go down inside his 22. Unless my eyes are playing tricks, Sterling looks to be walking with a limp. So it'll surprise me if he does very much running in the second half. He's just simply throwing the ball. This is Delroy. Growth. Pulled down by Daly. Tray about 10 metres out, almost in front of the uprights. Lee Beater. Mosley. Swamped in the tackle by Cliff Lyons. Sterling on the blind side. He gets a kick in, but Cleal comes up with the ball. And then Cleal gets a pass over to Ronson, but it's still in the field of play, and Growth comes down with the ball for Parramatta. Now a penalty goes to Parramatta.
Well, the crowd giving Kevin Roberts the round of the kitchen, but I don't know why. It was obvious that that was a penalty. Lyons was offside. He didn't mark directly.
Ball played by Mosley. Kenny. Shepherding against Kenny, a penalty to Manly, 32 metres out, right in front. Touch judge coming out, a replacement coming on for Parramatta, Graham Hughes.
Brian Jackson on for Steve Ella, and there was plenty of talk at half-time that this Parramatta camp are in real trouble. Sterling had treatment to his right knee, and of course Kenny with this ongoing ankle injury.
Cochrane, 32 out, right in front. Got it away a little bit offline, it's no goal. 6 points to 4 in favour of the Eagles over the Eels. I reckon if they had to sit for a medical right now, Graham, at least 4 of them would fail.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind. When Sterling was helped off by the trainers at half-time, I had grave doubts if he was going to be back. It just goes to show you what an important member of the team is. That first half, especially the way he read the game when Manly continued to make all those breaks. He was on the spot all the time, and, geez, that scoreline could have been anything at half-time without him. This is Muggleton.
Just outside the Manly 22. Now it's Jackson. Tackled by Lyons. 6 points to 4 in favour of Manly. 5 tackles as Sterling goes for the kick. Close is underneath it. And it came down off Growth, I thought. And it's going to be a scrum for the knock-on about 5 metres out from the Manly line. Same tunnel. Hasler again. Won by Parramatta against the feed. Sterling fires the ball to Muggleton. Muggleton goes for the line. I don't know that he's got it down. He's held up in goal. So it's another scrum 5 metres out. The replay of Muggleton lunging for the line. He was turned upside down. Good defence by Manly. So Hasler feeds the scrum again. And it's Parramatta's ball again. Played by Delroy, struck through by Manly. That restarts the tackle count. It's gone to Kenny. Kenny floats it out to Muggleton. He gets inside close. He heads for the line. If at first you don't succeed, then try again and fail again in this case. So John Muggleton has had 2 encounters with the line, 2 encounters with this never say die defence of Manly, and twice he's fallen either inches short or across the line and held up. So again Hasler feeds the scrum.
Graham Hughes has got a worm's eye view of this one. I'll surely be able to talk us through it because there's plenty happening.
Well, Bill, you've picked it up. You watch the way Ray Price continues to wheel this scrum to the open side of the ruck. They'll try and open the tunnel up so that Mosley gets a very, very good look at it. Price is now trying to see the way they take it toward the post. They're trying to push the ball away from Manly. On that occasion, it didn't work, but that's the first one Manly have come up with out of the last 3.
So the differential penalty goes to Manly. Now Shearer finding the line. Daly. Pocock. Cleo. Oh, good driving defence by Bugden. The ball coming away, though, to Cliff Lyons. Lyons finds a gap. Gets the pass out to Shearer. What a great pass by Lyons. Away now to Close. Close is up to the 22. Gets it to Davis. Davis sees Cox inside him. Gets it to Cox, and he's been hit by the Parramatta defence.
but the line is only about 12 metres up the ground. Hasler spreads the ball, goes behind Cleal, he picks it up and goes over the 22. He brushes Chalmers away like a fly, then the ball comes loose again, and 6 more tackles, says the referee. So 15 metres out from the Parramatta line. Paul Vaughton goes up to the 10-metre line, gets inside it. Parramatta's defence standoffish on that occasion. Played back to Davis, given to Hasler, turned inside for Pocock. Pocock is 2 metres out from the line. Manly's throwing everything at them now. Out to Hasler, now it's with Cox. Cox is taken to ground. Tackled by Sterling. Played now, back to Davis. Away it comes to Hasler. Out to Cochrane. The long ball is required. He gave the short ball to Blake. Blake goes back into the middle. He picks up close. The ball goes loose. Growth has it for Parramatta. And Growth will play the ball. Bugden is down. Kenny is down. And Price is down. So is Mosley. He's up on his feet now. But this is...
Well, that was real hot potato stuff by Manly. They threw the ball around and it was only desperate defence by Parramatta that was able to stop a try. I just don't know how long this Parramatta defence can continue to hang on.
Lee Beater's going to play the ball about 5 metres out from his line. Now it's Growth. Muggleton's kick. Pretty much just what the doctor ordered, and he finds touch about 12 metres on the Manly side of halfway. Bugden again, last man to the scrum. Davis. Price over the top, Sterling underneath. Cox. Shearer. Muggleton comes up with the ball for Parramatta. Sterling. Jackson. Mosley. Price. Mosley finds a gap. He goes for it himself. He's inside the 10-metre line. So just a matter of seconds ago, we were watching Manly throwing the attack at Parramatta. Now it's Vicky Verka as Kenny decides to try and step through, but he's tackled on 5 by Vaughton. It's gone to Sterling. Sterling puts the kick through. It came off the hand of a Manly player. It's back. If Parramatta come up with it, it'll be 6 more, but they don't. And he'll play the original knock-on now against Manly. Roberts was allowing the advantage to apply. This will be a Parramatta feed. The scrum 5 metres out from the Manly line. Sterling, he's over! He's done it himself, the little fellow! Well, the blue and gold army goes up as Peter Sterling does it all himself. He scores his 2nd try. Well, this little fellow is playing injured in the 2nd half, but there he was showing all the side steps and the swerves that has been part of his equipment. A brilliant young player.
In these situations, it's the lock's job to get that other side of the scrum. He was the man that had to take Peter Sterling. Lyons got out of the scrum quick enough, as you can see. He waited for Sterling to run, but Sterling threw in a big step off the left foot. Lyons missed him cold, then Hasler missed him, and Sterling was able to crash over.
So there he is getting some treatment on that right knee. John Muggleton taking this kick 15 metres out. He bangs it straight between the uprights, although the touch judges move to one side. The scoreline is Parramatta 10, Manly 6 in the NEC big game. Well, you've heard me talk about this very big crowd, and bordering on record proportions, I would think. Graham's got the official figures.
Well, it's broken the ground record, which dated back to Manly versus Balmain in 1976, which was 25,876, and today 27,650.
27,600. I didn't think they'd get 27,600 in. Magnificent crowd, isn't it? 5 tackles gone for Parramatta. No wonder they're sitting in the treetops. Muggleton puts the big torpedo pump down towards the Manly line. It might, no, it won't find the dead ball line. Oh, Jackson's coming very quickly. The ball has been, I'm looking at Roberts. I think he's going to give a try. He has, he's given a try to Parramatta. Now, who did he give the try to? I think Ray Price. There's the NEC replay. Manly were fairly slow. Ronson, as you can see, wasn't treating it with a great deal of urgency. He came up with the ball and then appears to lose it, and Brett Kenny claims the try.
Manly played the price here for some complacency. It was a good kick by Muggleton. He was kicking basically just for the try line, hoping to pin Manly down in this quarter. But Ronson went back very casually. He didn't realise that Jackson was giving a good chase. Now, Jackson claimed a try. Whether he got to it or not, we're never going to know. But the ball came loose. It looked like Johnson might have fielded it. Kevin Roberts was Johnny on the spot. He gave the second man in, who was Price, a try. I must say that Roberts looked for support from his touch judge. The touch judge indicated a try, and there you have it.
Well, I don't know whether he gave it to Jackson, Price or Kenny. What do you reckon, Graham?
Well, I'm still trying to make up my mind here after this goal kick. I've got two rather weary front rowers in Bugden and Leabeater with me, so we'll catch up with them after the kick-off.
All right, well, here's Muggleton now from 15 metres, almost in front. His team leading by 14 points to 6. And John Muggleton raises the flags. So Parramatta have bolted away now to lead by 16 points to 6, and 6.5 minutes of time remaining. Dale Shearer gets the match underway again for its final passage. As we take you to the sidelines, Graham has grabbed the Parramatta bookends, Terry Leabeater and Jeff Bugden.
Terry, I know you've had to wait a long time, but it looks like it's the minor premiership's finally come.
Oh, mate, I'm ecstatic. I didn't believe I'd ever get to see this. All I've got to do now is get a grand final. I'll be wrapped. It'll do me just nicely.
A lot of pressure came from men in that first half. They made an enormous number of breaks.
Oh, I think a lot of, they did. They threw everything at us, but our defence held out really good. Cracked once, but the pressure they threw on it, you expected to crack at least once.
Jeff, I was watching you closely in that first half in those sort of summary conditions out there. You struggled a lot of scrums. I believe you took some sort of a virus into the game.
Oh, just a bit of hay fever, mate. That's all. Just a spring on the farm, that's all.
I thought it was supposed to be clean country air up there.
It is, mate, but it's hitting this time of year when the flowers are coming out, and I got bad hay fever.
Enormous amount of spirit in this Parramatta club.
There is, mate. I'm pretty sure we'll go all the way. It's not over yet. We've got to keep our socks up yet. It's a good side, Manly, but we'll go a long way.
How do both you guys feel about the name being tagged to both of you as the bookends?
Well, it's a handle that's going to stick with. I know who's whinging about it, and they're not going to get rid of it now. It'll do me anyway.
All right, congratulations to both of us.
Thanks very much, man.
Terry Leabeater and Jeff Bugden as Malcolm Cochrane makes the break down the ground. I'm looking at Roberts. He might give the penalty. He will. He'll give the penalty on Peter Sterling for interfering with Cochrane after he had kicked the ball. Cleo takes the quick tap. It's gone through Hasler onto Vaughton. Long ball. It's gone over the touchline. Paul Vaughton, his own actions tell the story of what's going through his mind.
Yeah, Bobby Fulton's read this pretty quickly. I think the way that Cochrane grabbed at his right hamstring, and Charlie Haggett making his way out in the field now in 25.
I don't think he's without peer in Sydney Rugby League as a hooker. I mean, Roy Simmons might have the job, but there's nothing between him and Cochrane and Elias and Mosley. They're all top liners. Absolutely. But he is a very big part of the Manly game plan, Malcolm Cochrane. Daly. Jeremy Lillis playing in 24. Cleo. You know, it's amazing how you say something at a time in the season and you say, well, I'll never bend off that opinion. But when they came to the stadium, Manly, I said to you, Bill, well, if Parramatta doesn't beat Manly today, they'll never beat them this year. They didn't, but here they are leading 16-6 in the match, of course, at Brookvale. Mark Pocock gets a kick in, but Roberts has ruled a forward pass.
Well, I can't help but think that Manly have gone about winning this game the wrong way. I think they got their priorities wrong. They've gone out there, and no doubt their coaches told them their first priority was to win the match, but they've set out to score points, and they've tried to do it from their own quarter, and it's backfired.
Sterling picking up Price. Ever alert, picking up Sharp. Sharp to Growth. They won't catch Growth. Oh, Dale Shearer looked over his left shoulder and said, who's got it? He saw that it was Growth. And he basically said, oh, I couldn't possibly catch you. Dale himself was, I think, favouring a leg, but Growth strolled in for the easiest of tries. But again, it was this little fellow, Sterling, and of course, Ray Price. Well, adjectives fail me to describe him. Sharp backed up. That's excellent breaking from the scrum by both the lock and the second rower. And of course, Eric Growth, he was there in position as the winger, and Dale Shearer was left with the awesome task of chasing him.
This scrum came from a Manly error. They fumbled the ball. The scrum went down. Parramatta won it. Sterling ran from the scrum. He's created havoc from there. Slipped the pass onto Price. A great effort by the captain to back up. And who did he find? Steve Sharp, the second rower who'd come from the scrum. He was backing up, and then onto Eric Growth. And you give this man a start, well, you're never going to catch him.
And still more to come off the boot of John Muggleton. So Parramatta now leading by 22 points to 6 over Manly in the dying seconds of the NEC big game. And there's the siren. A hoop and the hollow there from Michael Mosley out in the middle, realising that the minor premiership and the club championship go back to O'Connell Street, Parramatta. Of course, now they get the week's rest. Of that we are certain. 22-6. Sterling, one of his most courageous and best performances here at Brookvale today, scored 2 tries. Price 1, Growth 1, Muggleton 3 goals. And for Manly, Davis a try and Cochrane a goal.
Ray, an amazing day for the club championship and also the minor premiership.
Yeah, mate, the under-23s took a fair bit of pressure off us by coming out and winning the first one. So, you know, that did lift a lot of pressure off us.
Yeah, an enormous amount of pressure also in the first half from Manly. They made some incredible number of breaks.
They're a good side. You can't, you know, take that away from them. Matter of fact, 4 of the sides in the top 4. Well, matter of fact, all the sides that have played this year in the top 6, there's no bad sides amongst any of them. They all give a full effort, and Balmain showed that yesterday.
You turn to the semi-finals. Immediate thoughts about the dangers?
Mate, we desperately needed this week off, and that's why we played our grand final out there.